I understand that you learned the lesson of your first fight in China against Alistair Overeem and flew to China about 16 days before this match. How much better do you feel than before you fought Overeem?
Yes, I feel great. Past acclimatization. Everything is good, so it's not for nothing to arrive earlier.
To fight in China with you came Yevgeny Goncharov. You sparred a lot with him. In your opinion, what level could Yevgeny achieve in UFC?
Look, Genya is a very strong guy, versatile, both physically developed and in the fight and in the punch, so he can safely enter the top 5.
You also trained with Walter Walker. He made 3 consecutive UFC wins. Tell me, if it's not a secret, did he catch you with any tricks during training?
I kind of managed to avoid them. I think he has an arsenal not only of these techniques, in principle a good knowledge of jiu-jitsu. It feels good. Attentive guy. I think it says a lot when 3 times in a row the same thing.
So he also tried to catch you with these submissions, but you were avoiding it, so to speak. Is that accurate?
Well, let's just say that I wasn't working in advance, let's say, to get ahead of the curve so that I didn't fall into a trap from which I couldn't get out.
Hamzat Chimaev, for 22 minutes on the ground, controlled a very physically strong Dricus Duplessis. How competitive do you think Hamzat would be in heavyweight? Could he, say, beat someone from the top 5 at all?
Look, heavyweight is a whole different story. I think it's just something to talk about. I don't know, I don't see. Because the weight matters and the learning, probably some, maybe, well, a striker, right? A person who grapples, I think, would be problematic.
In Moscow, you met with John Jones. You had a little conversation. What did you talk about?
We saw each other and greeted each other warmly. We shook hands and everything.
You first had a video on social media where you seemed to be avoiding handshakes with Jones, but then really there was a video of you shaking hands, and it was very cool to see. Can you comment on that? What was the story that you didn't shake his hand?
There you know what the story is. So let's say, in general, there was only one source of footage where this video where allegedly did not shake hands. First we saw each other, said hello, and there it was, and I kind of showed my hand, pulled my hand, and I didn't even see Jones show his hand again. That is because it was probably the second time I said hello to another person. I did not even see his hand. And then, when I saw the video, I thought, wow, type shit.
I got it. Well, you just met him before and shook hands, and that was a second.
Yes. We saw each other, hugged each other there, said words.
1.5 years ago, Ngannou lost in boxing without chance to Anthony Joshua. First of all, how did you feel about your colleague from MMA? And secondly, what would have happened if they had fought according to the MMA rules? Demetrius Johnson believes that Joshua would have beaten Ngannou under the MMA rules.
Well, I don't think so. If he hadn't won by the MMA rules, just because Ngannou wouldn't have fought him at the counter, he would have, I don't know, kicked there, passed. He had a crazy physical strength. It was enough for him to go into the legs, and that was it. Well, anyway, the fact that he got to this level, and let's just say, I think it's kind of, popularization, yes, MMA, that the MMA fighter comes out and fights with the actual boxing athletes. The world champion is really cool. That is regardless of the outcome of the battle. It has already, shall we say, entered history.
Sergey, you went to the podcast of Gregory Droz. I saw it. And what, of course, stood out, you did not talk about the fight with Volkov.
Well, I don't see the point.
You understand, I think that many Russian fans would very much like you to make peace. This is 100% wanted.
Look, no one's fighting over there. It's just that everyone has their own lives.
In October, there will be a title match between Aspinall and Cyril Gane. What's your prediction?
I think Aspinall will win. Let's just say Aspinall is not bad at the stand-up. but he has a good fight. He has a good jiu-jitsu. Gan is a very good boxing, but no knockout punch. Gan, he's technically, let's say, a gifted guy. Moves, light, but he doesn't have the resources to win.
If you imagine that the peak Fedor Emelianenko would have fought with Tom Aspinall, how would the fight play out? What would be the chances for Fedor?
Listen, well, Fedor is a legend anyway. So, of course, Fedor, no problem. Just out of respect.
That is all. Sergey, thank you very much. We look forward to your victory by way of knockout.